Okay, so how much time do you have? Here's the way that you guys need to calculate how much time you have to plan your wedding. Approximately how many weeks do you have between now and your wedding? So if it's a year from now, there's 52 weeks. Now you have to minus how many birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, weddings, graduation, and we all know that some days you're going to say, oh, I just don't feel like going anywhere. So let's say there was 52 weeks between now and your wedding, and there's 12 weekends that you know you can't do anything. That gives you 40 weeks between now and then. Okay, so 40 weeks, that means that's 40, you have to decide how many days can you go during the week to do stuff. Can you only do it on a Saturday? So if you can only do it on a Saturday, that means there's 40 times that you can go out to plan your wedding. So how long will it take to plan your wedding? How many vendors do you want to see? So you have to write down, that's where in the thing we said, write down the services. So do you need a DJ and a venue and a photographer and cake and invitations and flowers and rentals and what did I miss? Maybe dress shopping. So your dress, bridesmaid dresses, tuxedos, so let's say it's a minimum of 10, and that's not including if you want a photo booth or chocolate fountain or any of these extra things. So you'll need to write this down so you can figure out how much time you'll need, how many vendors, and then how many of each one do you want to interview. So let's say there's 10 vendors. How many photographers do you think you want to see before you can pick one? Or cake, or a DJ. And of course you don't know because you may go to 3 of one and really like them, but then you may not. And so if you have the amount of services you need times how many you want in each category. So let's just say, for example, I had said 10 and I want to do 10 of each. That's 100 vendors that I need to interview. Don't forget your drive time and the interview time. An average interview might be an hour, and then consider your drive time might be half hour there, half hour back. Don't forget you may also want to go back for a second interview, maybe a third interview. That doesn't include your detail meetings or your final meeting, and doesn't include all the extra, I'm going to go to Michael's or go to Joann's and fabric store and all these other fun things. So did anybody come up with a calculation yet, or did you just say, okay, forget it, it's a lot? So you can see, most people don't realize that it's going to take 400 to 600 hours minimum. Okay, so why do couples go over budget in the first place? It's not because they're like, woohoo, I got this extra 30% that somebody gave me, I'm just going to go spend money. They go over budget accidentally. Everybody goes over budget accidentally. So, the very first step, research everything before you commit to anything. So the way that we do it in our office is you come in and we talk about, you have to tell me everything. Tell me about your dreams and the venue that you want, and we're going to look at the photography, and tell me the whole aesthetics and the feeling that you want everybody to have when they come to the wedding. And then you're going to tell me your budget. You're going to tell me a guess at how many guests you think you might have. And I'm really good at doing a projected budget, but you guys might not be able to. We pick out your potential venue, your potential photographer, your potential caterer. We pick out everything. We don't book it, but we look at all the packages and everything else. So that's what you're going to be doing that's going to take so much time. Go look at all the venues. Don't pick a date. I'll tell you guys that ahead of time too. You can say, I like this target range, unless of course it was your grandmother's anniversary, if it was something really important to you. Just kind of pick a time frame. That way, you'll go out and you'll look at these venues, you'll look at the photographers, look at the caterers, then you bring all these packages together. And then you're going to look at, I really like this photographer, this is how much that photographer costs. I really like this venue, this is how much that costs. If we have it at that venue, I'm going to need tables and chairs and linens. Here's how much all that costs. So you're going to put it all down, and then you're going to add it all up, all your faves, and then you're going to go, oh, I'm over budget 10 grand. Which that's normal, because of course you picked everything that you really, really wanted and the best of everything. So now you look at that 10 grand and you see, how can I bring that down to my budget? Okay, I really wanted this all-day package with a photographer, but we can probably get away with 6 hours. I really wanted this cake, but I think we can do it with this. I really wanted these tablecloths, but I think I could have these. So you put the whole thing together first, and now you pull it into budget. You're like, okay, I think we're going to be in budget. I would always save at least 10% of your budget just for those little things that you really are going to forget. Maybe you forgot you needed security at the building. Maybe you forgot that you had to have an extra permit for something. So pull that extra amount aside. Now you have it all, and you look at it and you're like, okay, if we go with all these services, we'll be in budget. Now you're ready to move forward. Then you can start calling people. And let's say the first date you wanted is not available for one. So then you say, well, what dates do you have available in that time frame? Then you write them down. Then you call the next person. What dates, do you have any of these dates available? Yes, we have this date and this date. Then you call the other ones. What dates, do you have this date and this date available? Yes, and you just keep moving on. Now you know you're in budget, you know what services you want, and you know that they're all available for your date. Now you could start booking. Most couples do just jump in right away. I'm going to tell you how most people plan their wedding. They get engaged, they pick a date, they go book a venue, then they normally book their photographer, then they look at caterers, and then they realize they're almost out of money. Almost everybody plans their wedding that way. And I want to caution you guys also, if you wait a long time and do the research the way that I tell you to do it, you're going to get a lot of heat from your family and friends. What? You didn't book a place yet? You didn't get a photographer yet? You didn't do this yet? I don't know why everybody thinks that they should be telling you how to plan your wedding, but you're going to get a lot of heat for it. So I want to prepare you ahead of time. When you hear that, just say, you know what, I got it under control. Almost nobody does it this way. That's why everybody goes over budget. Most people just jump in because they just feel like I said, like they're like, we gotta book something, we gotta book something. Okay, and let me also say this. Of course you would get nervous when you look online and you only see 5 venues and you have 5 months till your wedding. Of course you're gonna get nervous. There's 300. There's hundreds of photographers, hundreds of caterers. There's probably 50 rental places that rent tables and chairs and linens here. So there's a ton of options. So I don't want you guys to get nervous and think, oh, I'm almost out of options. You're not out of options. There's a ton of them. So just keep being patient.